Come on. It's gonna be. But hello, everyone. Hello. It's not. Just give me one sec. Hello. 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 What is going on, everyone? So, happy Friday! So, I thought it might be nice to do something a tad bit different today. Um, so, as you may know, I love cartoons. Like, like stuff from Disney, Pixar, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and all that. Hold on, don't jump into any conclusions yet. I need to eat something, but I'll wait for that in a sec. Because doing in television, the biggest cartoon channels of all time. Sure, you may think it's Disney or uh, any type of international channel that you might think, but there's two channels that has been the dominant in the business, the dominant cartoon channel of all time. And sure, they have changed and evolved over time, but looking back, you may consider as you may cons- looking back, they do have a pretty neat history. So, so these cartoon channels I'm talking about is Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. Woo! That was anticlimactic. Okay. So here is how this is going to go down. I have made a few minutes ago a history chart, like like well, a tally chart. And as you can see, there's four categories: history, quality, recent reception, and the final score. And 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 I will go down in these categories to discuss which category is better. And the one with the most scores, the most points, wins. So let's begin, shall we? So for Nickelodeon, well, if you haven't knew on the history of Nickelodeon, it used to be a small little channel called Cube around 19 well on a on a on an experiment on an exper shoot, I am lost for words. So let me backtrack. Back in 1977, there a international experimental cable channel called Cube was released in Columbus, Ohio, I think. And one of those networks that was launched with the system was called C3, also known as Pinwheel, and it aired a small little channel called, and it aired a small little show that was quite similar to Sesame Street. It was very successful, and until around the time of 1979, when there was a satellite that was able to transmit cable from all over the world was launched into space, the network pinwheel was changed to Nickelodeon. And of course, there's like a bit of drama and whatnot. Let's just say around 1985, it became one of the greatest cartoon. It became one of the greatest children's programs of all time, and with the exception of really good shows around the time called Super Sloppy Double Dare, also known as just Double Dare. They they built a nice little attraction in Universal Studios Florida called, well, Nickelodeon Studios, which ran from 1990 until 2005. And Nickelodeon has became around the time as one of the biggest uh, children's programs of all time. So they decided to start experimenting around the 90s. And around 1991, they decided to start a cartoons division called Nicktoons. And the first three uh car- and the first three cartoons that was released was Ren and Stimpy, Doug, and Rugrats. And who Disney Afternoon was in some serious competition around the time. But hold on, random dude guy. This is where things kind of get juicy. And around the 1990s, Nickelodeon was the only channel that was made for kids, and it was run for kids. It's like there was this motto called "Nick is Kids," or they because literally they call themselves the first kids network, and it felt like, well, it kind of felt like it was a really good strategy, and a bunch of cartoons and really good, hey Alec, and a bunch of really good cartoons came and went, like Cat Dog, Hey Arnold, Our Real Monsters, and Rocko's Modern Life. And one of the crew members of Rocco would go on to create a really special cartoon. Around 1999, Nickelodeon released was considered to be the biggest, longest running cartoon of all time besides The Simpsons. Are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain. I can hear you. Aye, aye, Captain. Who lives in the pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob SquarePants. It was released after the 1999 Kids Choice Awards, and it became a huge success for Nickelodeon. And it was really popular with critics and fans of Nick who tuned in around. Random dude guy, calm down. Don't jump into any conclusions yet. Like SpongeBob became Nickelodeon's mascot around the time. There was big merchandise. There was toys like T-shirts, and it won a lot of awards for, I think, for Nickelodeon, like an Emmy or something like that. But around 2004, Nickelodeon wasn't ready to let go of SpongeBob just yet, because originally SpongeBob was supposed to end in 2004 after the movie came out. But Nickelodeon can't even say goodbye to SpongeBob yet, and they decided to keep him running with what appears to be forever. And, well, of course, I'll get to that later. So so SpongeBob is mostly the backup engine to Nickelodeon. So, and sure, there were other really good cartoons, and like without SpongeBob, we wouldn't get like cartoons, like really good cartoons like The Loud House, or the Middlemost Post, or something called It's Pony, which I neglected to watch, and it's on the Nicktoons channel. And speaking of the Nicktoons channel, well, I'll get to that soon. Let's move on to my personal favorite, and including Xavier's, Cartoon Network. So, and so it all begins with Hanna Barbera. You know, who is famous for the Flintstones, the Jetsons, and the what is considered to be the biggest cartoon of all time, biggest cartoon franchise of all time, Scooby Doo. It was, and of course, Hanna Barbera was in some serious competition. Around the 1980s, there was a thing called the rise of Saturday morning cartoons. They like like turning toys into cartoons that were mostly like commercials for these products, like the Transformers, G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, and it's like when these kids watched these specific type of cartoons that are mostly commercials for these toys, they would get those toys, and it would make a lot of money for the company that manufactures these toys, and that leaves Hanna Barbera left in the dump, like like on a side curb. Um, they're trying to like make a really good anime cartoon, but they keep struggling. So something happened around the early 1990s where a guy, like, I forgot his name, but he ran this really big company called Turner Broadcasting Services, and he bought Hanna Barbera. Yeah, I understand. So, this guy who runs Turner, they bought Hanna Barbera, and for and, and not only that, they also bought MGM's cartoons like cartoons like Tom and Jerry, for example. And it was if kind of so basically Turner was kind of like the Disney of the 1990s. um, but they didn't um like buy these cartoons for just like their own personal game. Well, technically, um, the owner of Turner really loved cartoons, so he decided to create a television channel around October 2nd, 1992. The Cartoon Network, which is considered the first cartoon channel show that runs cartoons 24/7, was officially launched. And and around the early days, they would just air old cartoons like Looney Tunes and the like Hanna Barbera's cartoons, and even the MGM cartoons like Tom and Jerry. And and ah, I like that. I like that. And Cartoon Network is considered to be it's like they would Cartoon Network was technically made to compete with Nickelodeon, which which was becoming a very popular channel around the time, which technically squashed uh I think NBC, ABC, and CBS around the time. And 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 around and around the until around like 1996, Cartoon Network and Hanna Barbera decided to make their own their own cartoons like for Cartoon Network, like original series for the network. So they launched a little blog called What a Cartoon, which would air cartoon shorts um like that would like be pilots for really big shows that would come out around the time. Um, like um, like Genny Tartakovsky and Craig McCracken and possibly I think Chris Avano, um, like did like little pilots for like uh, Cartoon Network, uh, which would later become very popular shows. And around I think in around 1996, 1997, the Cartoon Network's very first original show came out, and it was called Dexter's Laboratory. It was very well received, and it became a very it became a really good show. And also other animated other animated shows that are mostly made by Cartoon Network came out, like Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken, and in around 1998, the Powerpuff Girls came out, which was created by Craig McCracken, and it became a and the Powerpuff Girls was became very well received by critics and audiences alike, and it felt like Cartoon Network was riding high, and it was in the rings, like beating Nickelodeon, beating out Disney. It's like um and oh cool, yeah, and uh, if you heard of the console wars, like with Nintendo, Sega, Xbox, PlayStation, get that out of here. You have the animation wars. Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney, Fox, and I I'm trying to think of something else. And also Saturday morning cartoons. It's like oh, and Kids WB also. So around like 2000, like 1999, they released a an original show that wasn't made by Cartoon Network, but it was made by a different but it was made by a different cartoon studios. Bro, competition was steroids during the 1990s. Everything was competitive. Oh, I bet they were. So around 1999, Cartoon Network released the very first cartoon show that wasn't made by them, but was made in a different cartoon studio somewhere else. Ed and Eddie. It was on January 4th, 1999. It was Ed and Eddie was released to on Cartoon Network, and I don't know what to say about this cartoon. And also a very popular show that was kind of like the Twilight Zone, kind of, in a way. It was Courage the Cowardly Dog, which was made by Stretch Films, um, and it's really well known for it's very well known for like its scary elements, uh like for instance, like this little episode that's kind of memorable for me called uh uh it was about Eustace finding this slab that was it's like King Ramses from Egypt, and Ramses' ghost is like, return the slab or suffer my curse, and and Eustace, of course, being an old greedy man, he won't even return the slab. So this it's like curse would happen. It's just like a series of like trials or something like that. I forgot on how it ended, but it's, but usually when it comes to like Coach the Cowardly Dog episodes, it would end like it would end on a very scary note. It's just like, are you afraid of the dark of Cartoon Network? So yeah, I can understand why you guys like these shows, and I have to admit it's pretty good. Oh, and also, um, Cartoon Network also released a Friday night block called Cartoon Fridays, and they would air cartoons every Friday night. It's like uh, and they would have these like very nice special events, like this Cartoon Network pick, where they like pick the new show, and it's like around 2001, a very special Cartoon Network show came out called Grim and Evil, which would later spawn a spin-off called The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, where a group with two siblings, like Billy and Manny, um, like, curse the Grim Reaper himself to be like friends with them. It's just like I really don't understand why. Oh, if I remember around 2000, around 2001 and two, yeah, 2001, Time Warner, which was known as AOL Time Warner, which was like a very very disastrous merger around the time. They bought Turner Broadcasting Services, and and that means they bought Cartoon Network. So it's like, so yeah, a lot of things happened around the early 2000s. It was uh really big changes happened, like Cartoon Fridays discontinued in 2007. um Cartoons started getting like classic cartoons like Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo were all getting canceled by the network themselves. And and well, in around like 2008, Cartoon Network released they did this in 2003, but it was like a tie-in to um to the prequel series of like Star Wars. It was just like a fill-in for like episode 2 and episode 3. Episode 3 came out in 2005, and it was called Star Wars Clone Wars. It was made by Dexter's Labs and Samurai Jack's creator Genny Tartakovsky. And I heard pretty good things about the shows, like the action, the quality, but but I do understand that there were some flaws, like it's just like, yeah. So it seemed that George Lucas wanted to try this again, but this time with a very very special fan called Dave Filoni, who also directed a few episodes on Nickelodeon's Avatar: The Last Airbender. So George Lucas brought in Dave Filoni to supervise this animated show, which would later become one of the greatest Star Wars shows of all time, called Star Wars: The Clone Wars, which ran from 2008, and it was in kind of like in a hiatus until like 2000 around 2013, until many years later when Disney bought Star Wars around 2012. They they decided to give the fans a seventh and final season, which would air on Disney Plus. And oh boy, if it really ties into episode 3, and it's like, oh boy, I should really rewatch the show and like do like Star Wars: The Clone Wars, like a retrospective of it. It's really good. And like Nostalgia Critic even watched it, and he said he loved it, and he recommended everyone to like go watch it. It's just like, oh brother, I became a fan of the show. um, so yeah, um, Cartoon Network kind of like rode high until like 2009 came along, and they tried doing something a bit experimental. They saw like what Nickelodeon was doing, like live action shows like iCarly and Big Time Rush, and it was very popular. So Cartoon Network wanted to do something experimental. They decided to like do live action shows, like like completely live action shows on Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network, like live action shows. It's like they did shows like they did shows as just like exploding things, and they like, and it was and they did a series about a. I know they did this little live action show where only this kid can see like only anime characters because it was a show called All in Jimmy's Head. And he was and they were thinking of like doing like a military show on Cartoon Network. But thankfully, around 2010, Cartoon Network started the revival era, which would, of course, it's freaking bad. It's like live action shows on Cartoon Network. Can you tell it doesn't mix? Like, you can't do live action shows on a cartoon related channel. You have to do cartoons only, not live action shows. It's just, good thing in 2010, Cartoon Network saw the error of the ways and decided to do a revival era, which in result which which in result came out with these really good shows called Adventure Time, Regular Show, and The Amazing World of Gumball, and these shows are really popular, but that isn't kind of like in like recent receptions, just like, but sure they have like a few hiccups, like nowadays, like they did this weird experiment like they would do like um around 2013 they decided to like revive their old Cartoon Network shows for like younger fans. It's just like, bro, bro, you can't, you cannot like repeat the same thing over and over and over again in order for like a good cartoon reboot to be very good. Here's some things that here are two options that you can do. One, you can make it stay true to the original while adding some new things to it, like what Animaniacs is doing on Hulu. Or two, don't make it. Like, do not make it whatsoever. Yeah, it's like after watching Teen Titans Go myself, what? Like, what is wrong with the original, huh? Huh? Even the 2016 Powerpuff Girls, it's just like high hopes for that one episode, that one pilot episode that they came out and boom, they mess it up with freaking twerking, which is gross and disgusting, and it's very unnecessary. So yeah, oh boy, it's just like, oh boy, that's when. So for history, yeah, it was like around the time back to Nickelodeon. It was they couldn't even like go with SpongeBob. It's just like around 2009, they couldn't even let go of him. It's like so they rebranded the whole like logo for like a more sleeker and more modern look, which I do get that a sleeker modern logo is nice. I mean, really kind of it's really nice, but nothing can beat the Splat. Nothing can beat the Splat. I mean, the like orange shapes, like and with a white text in it, and a variety of shapes. It's just like it's freaking cool. I mean, why in the world did they change it? I don't know. Maybe they saw something on what Disney and Cartoon Network was doing. It's just like, and and also with live action shows, they descended into quality. It's like it became really bad. Like, sure, Victorious was a good show for me, and it's like Sam and Cat, and iCarly ended on a high note, and like Big Time Rush, but as like time went on, the cartoons around the early 2010s, holy shit, they were so bad, like freaking bad. Sure, sure, the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a really good cartoon. I mean, I have to admit, I was like I was completely blown away that they did something like this. But like cartoons like Planet Sheen, uh, uh, like Sanjay and Craig. It's like these are head rubbers. It's like, and do not get me started on breadwinners. Holy cow, that was meant to be a wet. Just that was meant to be one freaking. That was meant to be a freaking short. And what did Cartoon Network do? They just, well, not Cartoon Network. It's like, well, they did pick up Adventure Time for Nickelodeon. It's just like, oh, breadwinners. What did Nickelodeon do? That was meant to be that show. That little freaking show that they call a show is it was meant to be a short. Just one freaking short, and that was it. And of course, Rabbids Invasion. Thank you, Jeremy, for reminding me of that. I wouldn't call that a Nicktoon. That was just like a fill-in. It's like, I don't know. What are you gonna do? So around 2016 for Nickelodeon, the praise. Holy cow! This one show saved Nickelodeon from a slimy defeat. Aha! And this show was created by Chris Savano, who worked on Cartoon Network around the early 2000s. And sure, the reception from it was kind of negative, I suppose. But he decided to create one show that was based around him. And it would become a very, very popular modern icon. In the loud house, dog dodge, butcher job. This is how it's going along. Yeah. It was real, and of course, it's really good. But I'll get to the rest of that later on. So let's move on to the ranking of the history, like the final score. So the history. How good is it? Well, from a standpoint, Nickelodeon was and still is just a basic children's channel. So they didn't go into the animation business until 1991, which, as cool as it is, it doesn't really it does have some ups and downs along the way. They had to make a few sacrifices and to get there, but I think I'm going to give Nickelodeon a solid 2. And for Cartoon Network, well, their history is really interesting. I mean, they were born from Hanna-Barbera. Like, freaking Hanna-Barbera, which is really cool. And they really stuck to the motto around the 90s and early 2000s. Just like, and also they did make Boomerang around 2000. As I said last night, it was meant to be a nostalgic channel, and of course they did screw it up in 2015. So as the history of Cartoon Network it is really interesting because they were born from Hanna-Barbera. The modern history, like the 2009 with the failed live action experiment Seeing Real, ugh. And they also did like really good awesome cartoons like tie-ins to like very popular franchises like DC Comics and Star Wars and sure they have like they are still experimenting and the result is very good. So I'm gonna have to give Cartoon Network and I know I'm playing favorites, a mm, a 4. So Cartoon Network 4 points, Nickelodeon 2. So Nickelodeon, you gotta get this up. So for the quality of these cartoons. Let's start with Nickelodeon. So the quality has I haven't seen much of these cartoons, but I've heard really good things about them. Ren and Stimpy was very is very questionable. They 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 have it does have like a lot of gross out humor, which would really go over kids' heads. Like adults would get him, and it's just like, are you sure that's supposed to be in there? It's just like Ren and Stimpy was a very confusable show, and and that gross out humor kind of made its way to SpongeBob. So I gotta give him credit where credit is due, and um, Rugrats, as much as I kind of have mm, spiffy thoughts about it, I did hear this is a really good show, and it really taps into the imagination of what these toddlers are thinking about. It's just like what is like a like I know like what is a toilet? Like what it what are they going to be when they grow up? What is death? Like like it, when it comes to a show that's mostly centered around just 1 to 5 year olds, like a cartoon about babies, they really did something here. But I am quite spiff. I'm quite iffy about Rugrats. I haven't seen it. I do want to see it, but I don't know if this show is going to be good for me. So yeah. Um, of course, I want to get this stream done and over with. So let's move on to like a very memorable one. Rocco's Modern Life. Crazy. Nothing but crazy. It's just like very crazy, like a very crazy show, and the creator would go on to create a show for Cartoon Network. What there's a thing with cartoon creators. They can't even pick sides. Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon. Pick a side, you guys. It's just come on. It's just like, of course, I have seen the sort of revival special called Rocco's Modern Life Static Cling. I thought it was I thought it was kind of good, and as much as I didn't see the original series itself, I'm of course I do have a few questions. It's just like, how did they end up here? What happened while they were there? It's just like yeah. I dropped my marker. It's just like so. Rocco's Modern Life. Oh, hey Arnold. That's a show That's a '90s show I really love, and it's it. And of course, Hey Arnold is a really adult. It's really of an adult show because it deals with very adult things like addiction or neglect or uh like trust. It's like I remember there was this one episode where Arnold befriends a really cool guy, and it's just like he goes into this yeah, some swearing in there. It's just like this was a really adult Nickelodeon cartoon, and it really shows. There's like drama in it. It's just like you kind of feel that there's like dramatic elements. It's just like as I said, trust. Sometimes um of course Arnold did befriend a really cool guy. Um After that cool guy kind of like saved him from Arnold getting beaten up. It's just um and Gerald is just like, yo man, I don't think this guy is meant to be trusted. I sense some bad stuff with him, and Arnold's just like, you're just saying that because you're jealous. And Arnold like one night Arnold goes to a I'm losing my voice. Arnold goes to this little place where this cool guy tells him to go, and Arnold realizes that he is mostly a pawn in this cool guy's game. It's just like he's told Arnold is told to get in there and get some things, and of course before anything gets ugly, Gerald saves Arnold in the nick of time, and that's it's just like, and Arnold kind of learns a lesson. There are some people that you can't trust, and despite on how cool they are, sometimes you just have to understand that you can't trust strangers in the most part. And Hey Arnold is kind of a really cool show, and I love it personally. And I have to admit, Hey Arnold is kind of my favorite '90s Nicktoon. And also, I ship them, Arnold and Helga, the Jungle movie. They officially kissed. Like Arnold kisses Helga. So after that weird movie that came out around the 2002, where Helga confesses Arnold that she loves him, Arnold returns the favor. That's kind of cool. And the mystery on what happened with Arnold's parents has finally been solved. So so if you haven't seen the Jungle movie, I consider to go watch it, and it's a really good movie. I heard it's a really good movie. So, moving on to of course SpongeBob. What can I say about him? Over 200 something episodes. Ah, my goodness, there's so much to say about him. Oh, my goodness, consider him as like well, consider him as like this spark that Nickelodeon doesn't want to let go. It's like, no, not Cash Sponge because that's cheating. Um, I did think about this earlier, and no, SpongeBob actually has like 200 something episodes. So, oh, oh, wow. As much as I don't watch SpongeBob, where do I, Band Geeks. Band Geeks. My favorite SpongeBob episode. And and also, hold on a sec. There we go. And also, um, what can I say? SpongeBob kind of left a legacy on modern cartoons. It's like, as I said earlier, without SpongeBob, we wouldn't get shows like The Loud House or like Adventure Time or uh, uh, like like uh, favorite considerable favorite of mine, Infinity Train for Cartoon Network or Disney, The Owl House, Gravity Falls, or SpongeBob really left an impact on cartoons as a whole. And and I am mixed on what Nickelodeon is doing to SpongeBob, and it's just like one side of me is just saying, "Oh, cool." They're using SpongeBob to like um help modernize cartoons, but also no remove. And also, oh, sorry, um, didn't mean to do that, but so basically, I am mixed on what Nickelodeon is doing to SpongeBob. It's just like, oh, cool. They're using SpongeBob to like modernize cartoons in general, and it's really good. But another part of me is just like, oh, I want SpongeBob to be over because they're milking him to death, and they won't even stop until that very last drop of greedy money, like greedy money, is gone. It's like so so basically, SpongeBob is technically here to stay. And yes, video games, of course, like and Nickelodeon, I love you, man. I really do. But please, it's time to let go of SpongeBob. I mean, you have neglected like other cartoons. Like you've neglected Glitch Text. You neglected it's Pony. You neglected that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2017 reboot. It's like you've like you have neglected like these cartoons that you have made, and it's just like Nicktoons. You're basically putting these said cartoons that are really good, and you just don't even care about them. You're just putting them on Nicktoons, which is a cable channel no one even has. So it's your undoing. It's just like so. And yeah, they also neglected that, and they neglected Danny Phantom, the X's, and Catch Scratch in the early 2000s. So it's just like so technically, no cartoon is safe from Nickelodeon when when there's one. Excuse me. So no cartoon is technically safe. When from Nickelodeon, when those new cartoon creations go in, they never come back out. It's just like Nickelodeon is just eating them. It's just like consuming them and just continuing on consuming SpongeBob and the Loud House and Evil Con Carne is not Nickelodeon. It's Cartoon Network. Um, but but technically, I I do understand Nickelodeon is trying to stay with the modern times. Just like um, it's just like trying to stay alive, but but you gotta understand Nickelodeon that enough with these cringeworthy live action shows. Enough with milking SpongeBob dry until like he has like nothing left. And so yeah, technically the quality and the recent reception. Well, recent reception. So the quality is just it, it kind of like went up in the 90s until like the 2000s. It kind of like sunk down in the like 2010s, 2020s. It's trying to get back up, but it's trying to like, but it keeps dropping. So technically, I think the thing that's killing Nickelodeon as a whole is SpongeBob himself. So yeah, even if so, it's just like disrespecting Steven Hillenburg, who died in 2018. Then like neglecting his wishes for like making money. That's kind of sad and heartbreaking at the same time. So I don't know what to say about Nickelodeon. So let's move on to Cartoon Network. Yeah, it's kind of like mirrored. So yeah. So for Cartoon Network, I'm gonna list the memorable ones because I technically have watched Cartoon Network a lot, like in the past. So the Powerpuff Girls. Wow, the early seasons were dark, like very dark. It's just like, but it was jam packed. It was awesome. It was epic. It was, mwah. It was, it was perfect. As like, sure, it's considered as like a girls' kitty shows and whatnot. I don't freaking care. It's the freaking Powerpuff Girls. You got Blossom, Bubbles, Buttercup, who were mostly three kid superheroes. Like, holy cow, this show is freaking awesome. And screw to that 2016 reboot because that reboot like took everything that's cool with the original show and just shucked it. It's just like shucked it out the window, and I think they're gonna do it again with this live action show for the CW, which I am not really happy about. I wish I'm gonna let you on a little secret. I hope it fails miserably. So so Powerpuff Girls 1998, the original. Mwah, I have so many memories of the show. I kid you not. I owned a VHS of the show. And wow. Wow. Oh, I mean, wow. I mean, that's kind of cool. And yeah, the CW is technically Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network working on again. But no one talks about that. No one even talks about that. So yeah, the Powerpuff Girls, a really good show. And and I just love it completely. It's just like, mwah. It's like I have so many memories of the show, and I even watched the 2002 movie, which is kind of it's okay. I mean, for an origin story, that's kind of like in the rise of superhero movies. It's okay, not good, but it's okay. And moving on, it's like Ed and Ed and Eddie. It's like Looney Tunes, but it's Canada, and I love it. You have these weird visuals, like these, and of course it's kind of like slice of life a bit. It's just like, but but the show is mostly built on slapstick. You have you have these three boys who are mostly best friends because they share the same name, and and you and they and and they're trying to fit in with these neighborhood kids, but while scamming them out of the money, so these ads could get jawbreakers. Which, to be honest, I to be honest, to be honest, Ed, Ed and Eddie. What did I say? Dude, stop, stop saying that. So technically, Ed and Eddie is a really freaking good show. It's just like, um, it's just like it's like I said, it's Looney Tunes, but it's Canada. It's just like you have these really cool you have these really cool weird visuals. You have this you have this sense of creativity in the early episodes, and and these and you want to root for these three boys like Ed, Double D, and Eddie. It's just like it's just like I have many memories of watching the show, and I remember watching these shows on YouTube. But holy cow! If you this show is really awesome, and it kind of really understands that kind of like childhood innocence. It's just like trying to fit in, trying to play, trying to have fun, yada 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 stuff. But but Eddie is holy cow. I even saw the TV movie Big Picture Show. It I have to admit it's a really good movie. It's a really good finale to a really good cartoon show. So so yeah, Ed and Eddie is technically a personal favorite of mine, and and so so I really don't even care about the later seasons, like because that was kind of like an excuse to like fill in like the demand of like more episodes because I think season 4 was meant to be a finale, like a final season to the show. So until like season 5 and season 5, I think there was 6 seasons, but I don't know. Technically, Ed and Eddie kind of like descended into quality. It's like it was kind of cut. The later seasons were kind of cartoony. They relied on slapstick. They kind of like made the characters a bit mean spirited and whatnot. And I don't know. It's just dare I say, it's kind of like they kind of made the characters quite the opposite on what they are. It's just like um Ed is goofy and a bit stupid in the earlier seasons. Ed is mostly a crybaby and is very stupid. It's just like he tries to be funny, but in reality he's not. It's like Double D. He's kind of still the same, and well, it's just like, hey, it's just like a really good he's a really good character that kind of the optimistic one, and is kind of worried. It's just like he's kind of the sensible one. So, and Eddie, it's like he's kind of like this. He's kind of like this reasonable guy that has a reasonable um that has a reason uh on why he wants money so he can get candy like jawbreakers. Um, so yeah, um, he went from this nice, reasonable guy that kind of. Give me a sec. Okay. Okay, I'm back. So Ed and Eddie, it's a really good memorable cartoon. I have lots of memories of watching this show, even though I didn't have cable, thank goodness for YouTube about that. So yeah, Ed and a personal favorite of mine. So yeah, and let's move on. Quite a bit. Star Wars: The Clone Wars, as I said, a really good show, but again, it's not a Cartoon Network show. So uh, Kids Next Door, I kind of like watched one episode of it. I I have memories on that because I had a Cartoon Network DVD which featured like Scooby Doo and whatnot. I still have it, I think, and it was called Scooby Doo and the Toon Toy of Mysteries, and it was kind of like a tie-in for Kellogg's and Xbox and like American Online, and I guess I guess it's a kind of cool DVD, but memories were made on that show, and it kind of introduced me to Cartoon Network quite a bit more. So, um, so let's move on to the 2010s. Um, uh, hmm, since I Amazing World of Gumball, kind of a good show. Adventure Time, I've only seen like a few episodes. I thought it was okay around the time. I don't know about that, but about nowadays since it's like regular show, I haven't seen an episode, but it's quite creative. Teen Titans Go, fuck it, it's in the garbage. It's like nope. OKKO, really good show. It's like nostalgia. It's like Steven Universe. Uh, so, sense of fantasy, childhood wonder, and and it's really creative. And let me get you a little secret. It's mostly a gay show, so it's a show for gays. So I have seen like one season of it. It's really good. And as I said, it OKKO, really good show, full of nostalgia, full of fan service, and it's technically it's a show that that does crossovers to a T. It's just like Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh boy! Uh, I gotta admit that episode was kind of cool. It's just like, but of course that series ended kind of on a low note because well there was at the end of at the end there was meant to be more stories but Cartoon Network kind of like went on and just like hey this show's not doing so well as like we say it so it's going to be canceled so that episode's like thank you for watching the show and it's kind of like a tie-in tribute to like the end credits song but Cartoon Network but it's kind of like you know it was like a nice little message for the fans who watch the shows. It's like, thanks for sticking around, thanks for spending the time with us, and thanks for watching this amazing show. And I have to admit, OKKO, a really good show. So I wish I watched it back then, but I was kind of neglectful for it. And Infinity Train, give it to me. Give me more Infinity Train. This show is freaking epic. It's like I want more Infinity Train. Give me more. Where was season 5? Huh? Where was season 5? And Powerpuff Girls reboot, as I stated, freaking garbage. It's like garbage. Bleh. Garbage. Nothing but feminists. It's like but it is. And I don't know what to say about um what Cartoon Network is doing at the time as of right now. So yeah. So let's go to the rankings of the quality. So for Nickelodeon, um, As I stated earlier, it went up with the quality went up in the 90s and the early 2000s, but it kind of like dipped down around the 2010s, like early 2010s. Uh, and consequently, it's a really good show, but it's Loud House, so that doesn't even count. Um, so it so like like for instance, kind of like went up, kind of went up around the 1990s and early 2000s, and it kind of dipped down like late 2000s and 2010s. As you can see, and it's like it's like like late 2010s and early 2020s. It's kind of going up, kind of like going up a bit, but that magic's gone. It's just like that magic is completely gone. I don't think Nickelodeon is going to survive any longer. So as of right now, I might give Nickelodeon the benefit a kind, you know, I don't know. I'm gonna give it a 3. And for Cartoon Network, um, they really have outdone themselves with the quality. It's like really good shows from like the 90s and the 2000s, and they kind of sunk down a bit in the 2010s, but that doesn't really matter because like Adventure Time, regular show, OKKO, Infinity Train, really good shows and quite memorable ones as well. So so for Cartoon Network, I'm gonna give it a 5. So so uh 9 points for Cartoon Network and 5 points for Nickelodeon. So recent reception. I'm just gonna say this. Uh, for Cartoon Network, Cartoonito sucks. Like it really sucks. It's like I don't like it. I really don't like it one bit. It's like Cartoon Network is trying to cash in on the success of uh like like baby kid shows nowadays. It's just like not a really good idea. It like it's like Cartoonito on Cartoon Network. Mm-mm. I mean, it will be perfect as like a just like one as just a not a block but just like a small little channel that's just like Cartoonito. No, on Cartoon Network, it's just a plain no. And for some reason, Cartoon Network changed the logo, and it's bad. It's really bad because the colors on this checkerboard is inverted, and the letters are like even out. It's just like they're not aligned, and it's just it's just mm-mm. So Teen Titans Go is dipping down pretty badly. It's like it's 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 no. It's just like a plain no. It's just like so. Recent receptions like Boomerang. It's like Cartoon Network is kind of changing because it's like there are like new methods that's happening. And it's just like, hey, it's totally understandable, but can you at least try and make a Cartoon Network a bit good? I haven't seen it on Go Grandpa. I haven't seen it, so I've only seen a few episodes. I thought I no, I Mm-mm. So Cartoon Network, I know they're changing the methods a bit, like they're releasing the new Batman's, they're releasing the new Batman, um, series, which is made by Bruce Timm, and it looks freaking epic. It looks freaking epic, and I think Cartoon Network is trying to cash in. Um, it's just like I don't know what they're doing now. I haven't. Camp Laszlo, made by Rocco's Modern Life's creative, really good. It's just like, mm, I haven't seen much of the show, but kind of looks really good because it's made by Joe Murray, and I don't know what Cartoon Network is doing now. But since I'm with Nickelodeon nowadays, I freaking know what they're doing. So recently, they just placed its pony on the Nicktoons channel, and Nickelodeon. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? It's just like, dude. So technically, the Loud House is decreasing in quality a, a tad bit, but I'm still gonna watch the show until it ends. I mean, nothing bad can happen uh, to me with that love for the show. And of course, they released the Loud House movie, which for some reason is getting pretty bad reviews. Even Yoshi players said the movie's bad. I don't know what's up with that guy. So, grr. And um shows like the Patrick Star Show and Camp Core are just meant to be like on like trying to cash in on SpongeBob more, which needs to stop. So so yeah. They also bought the rights to the Smurfs, and which they made a CGI series, and I've seen a few episodes of it, and it's pretty good. It's a pretty good modern take on the Smurfs, on like the live action Smurfs. Oh, those movies are bad. So, and Garfield. They also Nickelodeon has also bought the rights to Garfield, so they're planning on making a series for that, and I'm really interested on how it'll go. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen for Nickelodeon because when I'm done with the when the Loud House is over and the Cosmic Grandes too, I'm done with Nickelodeon. I'm moving on to something else, honestly. So so for the recent reception, final rankings, Cartoon Network. Uh, I don't know, honestly, because I haven't checked with them a lot. But honestly, the starting to like wiggle a bit. They're starting to wiggle a bit. So I do understand what they're trying to do, but honestly, I'm gonna give uh recent reception for Cartoon Network a 2. And for Nickelodeon, oh boy. I do understand that they're trying to do something different, but it's just, I think it's kind of difficult with the recent reception because I don't know, it's like cringy live action shows, the cartoons that are mostly neglected. It's just like it's like shouldn't it be the opposite? Like instead of less cartoons and more live action shows, how about more cartoons and less live action shows? Come on, Nickelodeon, you know better. You you buttheads. So for Nickelodeon, I'm gonna have to give them a 2. So uh, so Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon for recent reception, both 2 points, and that leads to the final results. So for Cartoon Network, for its history, 4 points, quality 5 points, recent reception 2 points. So that leaves to 11 points. And Nickelodeon, 2 points for history, 3 points for quality, and 2 for recent reception. So that means 7 points. I think we all know who the winner of this battle is. Shabam! As much as I do like Nickelodeon, I have to admit Cartoon Network is personally where it's at. So the winner is Cartoon Network. I'm sorry for all those Nickelodeon fans that really wants Nickelodeon to win. So yeah. But don't worry, I'm not going to move on to Cartoon Network. I'm still sticking with Nickelodeon because of the Loud House. Because yeah, you're making me feel bad, Jeremy. Oh my goodness. So technically, Cartoon Network is the winner of this battle, but the fight still goes on, and so in the future, until in the very near future, we'll understand what's going to happen with both of these networks, and I hope Nickelodeon can bounce back and prove themselves worthy once again, because I don't know what they're going to do with this, like, home trouble. And Cartoon Network, they're trying to dip down, they're trying to sink a bit with Cortinito, but I do hope they can try and bounce back and realize the tad bit of a mistake that, as much as I don't watch Cartoon Network anymore because of Cortinito, thanks a lot scheduling. I'm still interested on what Cartoon Network is going to do in the future. So that's it for today. And holy cow, what I honestly I was kind of on the edge of my seat. So yeah, Cartoon Network is the winner of this round. So yeah, they lost. I love Sharpies. So take a good look at the score. What, roasted? What did I do? Like. So yeah, the battle's over as of right now, but the fight goes on. So that's about it. Thank you guys for tuning in to this stream, and I had fun hanging out with you guys. But as you can see on the sketch on the community post that I posted earlier, I have some work to do. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Take it easy, guys. Bye.